responds to one of many gish gallopers that does not want to listen and likes to espouse and pontificate but ignore people. Sort of like me. I'm going to cover this in a minute, what I just said, but let's go for it. No one makes ground-breaking discoveries by conforming to the general consensus of the community. Counterpoint. This is used as an excuse by people to take something that is well understood, and instead of finding some new wrinkle that actually has any practical application, they just decide to say the world is flat and there's no such thing as gravity. You have to do better than that. And this is a bullcrap excuse for ignoring things that are actually discovered. That's called being a regressive. We have discovered over a very long period of time a bunch of things that make it to where we can actually survive on this planet. You are representing a population that is gleefully happy to destroy what actually works. It doesn't matter what this isn't an argument from consequences. The fact that you don't care about the consequences is based on two things. One, none of us are letting you get away with it. Number two, you're so incompetent that you don't even know how to break this stuff. I'm saying this to the same person who's been doing the Gish Gallop of originally, if anybody's curious, saying that Donald Trump is essentially a messiah. Trying not to say that because that would literally be elevating him to a messiah state. I'm not saying he's a messiah. I'm saying he's an annoying orange messiah. Not any different. Same person, or same type of person at least. You have to think outside the box. Yes, I do. It's called testing things that are considered part of the system. You test dogma to tear it down. The trouble is, you don't test it and tear it down by lying about facts, faking evidence, faking birth certificates from completely different countries, and messing with people by just screwing with them over the net, and you're not permitted to be in this discussion. You will never be allowed to post until you stop doing this. It's a set of rules that we have as a species, because we have learned through horrible negative outcomes, if we're going to do argument from outcome, to not let people like you have the ability to touch a button or open a jar without supervision because you're incompetent. The reason I'm doing this video is that it is useful. This is a common trope. I'm defying the status quo. That's good. But you can't do it outside of the rule set. And the rule set has nothing to do with staying with the status quo. It has to do with the basic rules of, is this a fact? What are the consequences? Good or bad, all of them. Stop sounding like a politician and doing stuff that will win you an argument and lose us a war. These are things we've learned. Read Art of War. Let's start with something you would probably get off on. Pro tip to anybody who's already read it. I know he won't. That's the point. Send them down a rabbit hole that makes them learn something, not necessarily make them happy. And when you do go outside of the box, you're going to get mocked, persecuted, and even threatened. Yes, and apparently when a person simply explains to you that you're not going outside of the box, you're just trying to take a crap in it, I get threats, I get mocked, and I get treated like crap. And that isn't, by the way, if anybody's curious, that's not evidence that I'm doing anything right. Oh, you have enemies, that means you've taken a stand. The last part of that quote is, that doesn't mean the stand you took was correct. That just means you took a stand. Spring. This is the atmosphere of the modern-day universities and scientific community. Yes, because of social justice warriors and other dogmatic thinkers like you. You're the same species, or feces, and I stomp you every time because you cannot actually adhere to university and scientific community and academia rules. The rules in academia are loosely based on what actually works. Until you get philosophers and social justice warriors and social scientists need not apply because they're not applicable. See, this is why I voted for Trump. No, you voted for Trump because he told you the things you wanted to hear, just like every other politician gets voted in. I voted for Obama originally because he told me what I wanted to hear too. And then I found out he was a Chicago politician. I didn't vote for him the second time. I really didn't care who got in there. I believe in ripping our aristocracy down every couple of years, or every 4 years. And now we have to do that in 2018 by getting rid of every single person who's never been voted out, who has nobody opposing them. Because they are now the sticking point. We need to replace our government. I don't care with what. Just replace them at this point. just make it to where they know we will fire them because we fired the people they just replaced. And if they keep thinking that their job depends on us being happy with them, they'll do what's in our best interest. Now, you go ahead and you contradict that. I want to see if you can do that. Because your corporate masters want you to do that. Which one of us is outside the box and which one of us is tied up in one corner of it? Idiots. Trump shakes things up and is freeing our language. He just voted for taking away your ability to have privacy. He just tried to take away the one thing that everybody wanted him to do, even me partially, to get rid of Obamacare and put something in better. They couldn't even do that, and they had 100% backing from everybody. It didn't work because the infighting in their own party screwed him over. He isn't doing any of this. Stop frickin' cheerleading. Once a president's in place, you don't cheerlead for them. You monitor them. You also don't try to take them down simply because you lost to them. I'm not sounding like all of you Obama haters. I want him to succeed. We need him to. I don't think he wants to or cares to. He spends too much time doing what I'm doing now, responding to criticism. When you see people coming up with new ideas and new theories that the general community does not agree with, they are mocked and persecuted. Yet you can't see how this will only slow and prevent us from discovering new things. No. They're being mocked and persecuted, right? Or they're being asked, can you show me the evidence that this perpetual motion machine works? That's not mocking or persecuting someone. That's basic. That's not basic. No. Let's make it more advanced. That's COBOL. Some of you know the joke about that. So please also look up the origin of the word bug. Computer bug. Scientifically speaking, it's impossible for anything to exist because of the law of cause and effect, and yet here we are. No, it isn't. And you're not bucking the system by saying this. The laws of cause and effect. Are you going to bring up the name that law of thermodynamics that you're going to say wrong? Please do in the next comment misquote every scientific principle and say you're an expert. Well, you claim that the laws of cause and effect aren't causing anything that's going on when they are literally the baseline rule that I quoted in the video you're commenting on. Why don't you try this? And this is I'm seeing this person, they're attempting to at least make me think that they may be softening up and thinking for a minute. You know, acting like you're intelligent means you can't play dumb anymore, right? All right, let's do this real quick. Did it ever occur to you that it is in everybody else's best interest that wants to keep you under control, that you don't think outside of the box that you were put into? This is the same person or same variety of species of two people that I'm dealing with now. For all I know, they're the same person with two accounts. Who knows? Maybe it's 50 people taking turns in one account. Your entire task is to keep things from happening a way you don't like. I'm encouraging people to support Trump if he just stops doing stupid things. One of us is not, I'm not compromising. I want success. I don't care who's at the helm. He's not really steering the place. Or we'd already be dead. You're the person who probably spent years trying to get rid of a president that was democratically elected twice in a row. You're probably the person who keeps ascribing religious connotations to crap. You're probably the person, or persons, that keeps pushback going, just like the SJWs. And I'm supposed to listen to this and not point it out. Or was that the entire intention of your video? Or, excuse me, your comment. I forgot, you don't make videos. You just whine and complain. At least I make a video when I whine and complain. Look, I'm going to do a synopsis and end the video. One of the tropes that is used, one of the tactics that's used by people who are contrarians is they say, I'm not going with the flow. Big deal. What happens is if you actually went out and learned some of this stuff, you'd be like me. I'm not exactly going with the flow. I'm pointing out defects and stuff. I contradict scientists all the time. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson's oversimplifying things. Miku Kaku, I forgot how to pronounce his name, sorry. I think he's grossly oversimplifying things. He needs to shut up. And I think Obama needs to go on a permanent vacation along with all the others because they are old news and they need to go away so desperately. We really don't want to hear or see. I agree with everyone of you. I don't want to hear about Hillary for the rest of my damn life. Seriously. So stop making claims about them so they disappear and just deal with your damn president. But anyway, this trope of I'm going against the flow, that's nice. I'd make an enema joke now, but everybody did in their head. You're not accomplishing anything. You're specifically trying to undo things so that you can seem like a rebel and try to stand out in a crowd. That's it. The general consensus of the community on many subjects is actually normally the correct answer. Arguing against it means that you have to find out that they've made a basic mistake. Not that you're just going to make statements like the tide goes in, the tide goes out, carbon dioxide is good for plants, and it's a tiny percentage of the air quality. I'm going to be doing a video on why a tiny percentage of the air quality is very significant, even if it's only 0.5% or half of, 1/100th of a percent. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a video on that. Because that argument's bullcrap. How much cyanide is acceptable? Oh, well, that's a different story. Yes, it is. We're both talking about something that's damaging, not to... One of them's damaging to people, the other one's damaging to the planet. But everybody talks about this homeopathic method where one atom of uranium is all of a sudden deadly for everybody within 5 miles. See also Beautiful Girl by Dana and the stupidest thing ever said about atomic power, the Thunderfoot video. Yellow cake with no ice cream. Versus people who then say, no, that tiny percentage change in a very important gas that can affect the atmosphere, that's not relevant. Okay, so we're all homeopathic when it fits our worldview and what we want to win an argument with on the net, but it's not in it when we're being told, no, really, this is a serious problem and there's consensus that this is happening. Now I'm going to repeat something I've said before. I'm going to synopsize now. Sorry. This is a tactic where people say, I'm bucking the system, I'm a hero. This is self-aggrandization. And it's also a false narrative. And it's a logical fallacy. Next. Everyone does this situational logic and situational ethics thing. You all shift gears so often you blow out your tranny. Keep blowing your tranny. So, when have I changed gears? I'm asking. I probably have. I mean, everybody falls victim to this. That's why we check each other. Like, I'm gonna critique Logan Running here. Yeah. At one time, he gave me a lot of flack for a couple of things. I mean, we get flack for each other all the time. You might see that. But he's backpedaled majorly on one big issue because he found out he was simply not correct about something. He took the Kool-Aid and didn't realize it. He thought it was some good wine. It was Kool-Aid. He got drunk off the stupid stuff. Got drunk off stupid, just like everybody does. I got it too. With him, it was Nibru at one time, or whatever. With me, it was Building 7. I found out I was wrong about that. Most likely. Nobody really knows these things. But we can know when someone's lying to us. That's the hard part. And in both our cases, we found out that the liars are either insanely obvious or they just don't matter anymore, and we just skip it. That's why you haven't seen many 9/11 videos on my channel. I have covered it a couple of times on previous channels. Mostly as a way to purge my gut. The point I'm making here is these tactics are based on our weaknesses, yours and mine. All of us have these. Why doesn't the person who keeps sending me these gish gallops acknowledge this weakness and look in the mirror? There's a logic puzzle. I'll do it really quickly. Say what you want to believe and say the opposite of it. And see if your gut tells you to do one thing or another. Now, make a note of that. Now, see if everybody agrees with you and everybody disagrees with you. Okay. The normal thing in populations is we go along with the flow. I understand that. But because we don't want to be a sheep, we end up being a ram by doing this crap, where you just take an opposing position because you think somehow that's the clever thing to do. It's called playing devil's advocate. But if you do it too long, you become the devil. Try to remember that. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And shout outs to Logan Running. Go look up his channel. I'll have links sometime.